Okay, thanks everybody for coming. We thought we'd do something a bit different this month. We thought we'd mix it up a bit at the Roebuck, and rather than just having an event, we thought we'd try and do some team training, because we've now got quite a lot of people locally that we can all get together. I mean, we've got 10, we'll probably have about 12 people in the room, so it's really worth getting together and actually not just having an event, actually doing some training, because we can all work together. We're all in Paula's team. We're all in Paula's downline, so it's an experiment. I'm just going to do a bit of training on something that I know a bit about, but if people like it, we can do it every month, we can do it whenever people want, we can train on the office, we can train on other things. So, you know, as I say, it's just a bit of an experiment. Thanks for coming. So what I'm going to do this evening is I'm just going to do a little bit of training on some stuff that I have trained on myself. There's an awful lot out there online. There's lots of network marketing training, and we've all looked at Eric Worre, and Susie Mitchell is fabulously expert on all sorts of personal development themes. But why not do a bit for our own team? So I'm going to talk a bit about setting goals and a little bit about our DMO and getting a DMO that really works for you, and how to set goals that will really work for you. Because I think we've all set goals, haven't we? And anybody ever set a goal that they haven't actually got, they haven't achieved? Yeah. Anybody? Yeah, everybody. It happens all the time. And there's usually a really good reason for that. And it does help to know a little bit about how our minds work and how we can set goals that are actually, we stand a chance of sticking to. Because the things you can do to make it much more likely that you will stick to the goals and reach the goals that you're setting yourself. So, a couple of facts about goal setting to start with. We've all set goals that haven't worked. Anyone ever set a New Year's resolution?
Stop doing those years.
Yeah. Anybody actually kept that going more than about a month?
I think I did a non-smoking thing. I know I did, in fact I did, but I know how I kept it is because I was doing it with 2 other people, and they went back to smoking, and I gave them so much that I actually couldn't go back on the principle thing.
So well done.
So yeah,
you stuck with it, but that's not a very good proportion out of the whole room, is it? And the fact is,
the only one I've ever done, and I am like 41.
the fact is, most goals aren't achieved, and there's some really good reasons for that. The main reason we don't achieve our goals is because we're setting our goals with the wrong bit of our brain. Okay, so when you set a goal, say New Year's resolution, you think, I'm going to stop snacking. So that's my New Year's resolution. I'm not going to snack anymore during the day. Okay, so that was my New Year's resolution. I'm setting that goal with the front bit of my brain, the conscious bit of my brain, and I'm going to stick with it by willpower. That's what we think, isn't it? I'm going to stick with this. I'm determined. I'm going to stick with this goal. What I'm going to do, and I'm not going to be defeated by it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to carry it through. But the problem with that is that bit of your brain that you're using to set the goal is not actually the bit of your brain. It's actually in control 95% of the time of anything you're doing. Does that sound a bit weird? The bit of your brain that's actually in control is not that conscious bit at the front. It's your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind. And that's what's in charge most of the time. So, it sounds a bit weird, but if you think about it, most of what we do is actually habit. Almost everything that we do is habit that we've learned, and then we just carry out every day. So, think about things like, I don't know, walking. Okay, a little kid learning to walk. You learn to walk. It's really difficult. If you watch them, it's really difficult learning to walk. But once they've got it, they've learned it. So, if I want to walk over there, I just think, well, I'm going to go over there and just do it. And then I go back. I'm not thinking consciously about where I'm going to put my feet and which muscles I'm going to contract and how I'm going to move my body to walk across the room. Because I've learned that. And now my unconscious, my subconscious mind is taken over. And that's like, it's like a computer program. It's like NES, it's like someone writing a bit of code. And once it's written, that program can be run over and over again. You don't have to write the code every time. And most of what we do is like that. It's running, it's all these patterns, all these unconscious habits that are running without us even being aware of it. So, another good example, if we drove here. Okay, you've driven further. So while you were driving here, what were you thinking about?
What good songs I've done before.
Okay, what good songs you got? Anything else?
Old.
Yeah, they were, so you were thinking about songs.
Yeah, no, I do drive, and I can know that I'm driving subconsciously a lot of the time, because I'll get a certain point and I'll go, ooh.
How did I get here? Yeah, we all do that because we know how to drive. It's really complicated driving. When you learn to drive, it's so hard and you've got to think of all these things at once. But once you've learnt it, it becomes automatic and you just do it. You don't think about it. You only actually consciously start click in if something unexpected happens, like if a kid had run across in front of you. Then your conscious mind would have clicked in and you just started reacting. The rest of the time, it's all habit. When you walk down, when I walked downstairs and I fell down the bottom 2 stairs and broke my foot a couple of Christmases ago. And that, I know that's because I started thinking about where my feet were going because I was carrying something. When we walk downstairs, it doesn't help to start thinking about where your feet are going because you know your unconscious mind is in control, you're running a program that's already been written and you don't even have to bother about it. You're free to think of other things. So 95% of what we do is like that. It's automatic. So if you've got a habit that you don't like snacking, or whatever else you want to change, just deciding you're going to stop isn't good enough because it's automatic. And as soon as you stop thinking about it, you'll go back to it. So if I go for the biscuit tin whenever I'm stressed, which I do actually, so I make a New Year's resolution, I'm not going to snack during the day. One of the reasons that I eat biscuits is when I get stressed. 2 weeks later, I'm sticking to it really well, and I get a phone call, and it's from someone who says, oh, you know that training you're supposed to be doing in 2 weeks, can you do it tomorrow, please? So I think, oh my God, oh no, I've got to do it tomorrow, I haven't written it, I don't know what I'm doing, I've got to do loads of reading, and when I'm going to cook dinner because I've got to write this training, all this stress. Before I've even become aware of it, there's half a packet of biscuits gone. I hadn't even thought about it, because that's my habit. I get stressed, I eat biscuits. So does that become, is that beginning to click a bit, that you can't make your goals work just with willpower? It doesn't work for anybody, ever. So that's a big reason we don't achieve a lot of our goals. Okay. And the other thing, which is a fact about goals, is that people make big goals, great big goals. If we get back to our Juice Plus businesses, a lot of us have got big goals for retiring and for maybe moving abroad and for changing our lives completely with our Juice Plus. Anyone got big goals like that? Yeah. I want to be sitting on a Greek beach a lot of the time in 5 years' time. That's great. We need those goals. We need to have a direction, but we also need to have goals that are a bit closer and that feel a bit more achievable sooner. So it's no good just focusing on those huge goals, those massive visions. We also have to think about other goals that are closer. So maybe where do you want to be in 1 year's time? Where do you want to be in 6 months' time? They're all really important to be thinking about. Okay. So having set goals that will actually stand some chance of achieving. And this is the sort of thing that I do with coaching clients. So if I'm sitting down with somebody, we'll go through what they want to achieve. It might be giving something up, it might be getting slimmer, it might be all sorts of things. Getting rid of a phobia. But goal setting that works follows a pattern. So, first thing is, when you've got a goal, when you're setting your goals, they should always be in the positive. Do you know what that means? Your goals, a goal that's in the positive, say, is I'm going to be slim, or I'm going to weigh whatever, or I'm going to be, I'm going to buy a certain kind of car this time next year. A goal in the negative would be I'm going to stop eating biscuits. I'm going to give this up. I'm going to lose this. And the reason why that doesn't work is because your unconscious mind, when you're setting a goal that's going to work, You have to get in touch, you have to get your unconscious mind on board, because that's the bit that's in charge, that's in control. And your unconscious mind is like a kid, it's like a very small child, doesn't hear the negative. So if you leave a 3-year-old in a room with a tin of biscuits and you say, whatever you do, do not open that tin of biscuits. What does the 3-year-old hear? Open that tin of biscuits. And your unconscious mind is just like that. So when my other half goes mountain biking on a Sunday, I try to remember to say, have a great ride, stay on your bike. I try not to say, don't fall off. And I say to my kids when they're going out, be safe. I don't say don't get into trouble, because it's really powerful. Because you're always, when you're talking to someone, you're talking to their unconscious mind as well as their conscious mind. So they should always be, so when you're writing your goals down, and that's really important, write them in the positive. You need something measurable. It's no good saying, my Juice Plus business is going to allow me to retire, or I want to retire. Well, yeah, we're all going to retire, probably when we're 68, but that's not what we actually want. We need to say when we want it. So you might have anyone got a goal to reach the next position and be on stage somewhere? Julia and Pauline. So what's yours?
Mine's NMD in Birmingham.
NMD in Birmingham. Okay, so that's very clear. What about yours, Pauline?
SC Birmingham, not Birmingham.
Bournemouth.
Yeah,
SC in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
So you've both got really clear whens. Well, where are we? Oh God, I'm not following the slides. I'm talking, but I'm not following what it says. The next one will probably say where. Yes. When, where, and with who. So when, where, Bournemouth, Birmingham, and with whom. That's easy, this, because you know who'll be there. You can think, well, the team will be there watching you, and John Hollowatty will be there. So you can start to actually put a picture together of what it will be like. Now, if we go back to the point before, you also need to think about what you're going to need, because you can't achieve, if it's a goal that's going to be challenging to achieve, you're going to need something to help you. So you might need things. I don't know, if you've got a job where you needed to do lots of techie stuff, you might need a new laptop. There aren't many things we need for network marketing. It's not so much about things, it's more about people. So who do we need around us? Who do we need being supportive if we're going to achieve our goal? Do we need our family to be supportive? If they're not supportive, do we need to address that and think about how we can...
Or would it mean the structure within the business to achieve?
It could be anything. Yeah, that could be things. We might, if Julia wants to get to NMD, you need to look at your business structure. That's the what. You need to have 5 PB legs by a certain time. So that's the what. But it's also the people, because the people got those PB legs are made of people. So what people are going to help you get there. You might need money, some goals. Luckily with our business you don't need very much money. But think about all the things you're going to need, and think about where you're going to be, who you're going to be with, and when it's going to happen. And only then I will come on to the fun bit, which is, who's heard of vision boards? Yeah, vision boards. We've all heard about vision boards and how it's important to have a vision board. And who's got a vision board somewhere in the house? We all should really have them. But that's because it's all about pictures. And the reason that we need vision boards, and we need more than vision boards, is because if we go back to your unconscious mind that's in control all the time, most of the time, and we need to agree to help us get towards our goals. Your unconscious mind is, again, it's a bit like a child. It doesn't see the negative. It also is very, very visual. Okay? And the other thing about your unconscious mind is it doesn't really know the difference between something that's actually happened and something that you really vividly imagine. Your unconscious does not know the difference. If you can conjure up a wonderful picture of something in your head, really clearly, your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference. It's just like a memory. It will assume that that is real. Okay? So that's why pictures are really important. It's great to have your vision board and have those pictures to look at every day. But it's also important to go inside your head and imagine what it's like, what it's going to be like. Has anybody ever done that? Anyone's done visualisation? Yeah? Quite a few of you have. Have you ever done that, Julia?
Me?
Yeah. So when you're thinking about being an MD in Birmingham, it will help you if you take 5 or 10 minutes and you just sit down and you relax, and you close your eyes, and you just take yourself there. So you think about where you'll probably be on stage. Put yourself somewhere, maybe on stage. What are you going to see when you're on stage? What's it actually going to look like? What's the surroundings going to be like? You just make it up if you're not sure. What you're going to hear? You're going to hear lots of applause. Are people going to be saying well done? You're going to see Jay there, somewhere in the audience clapping. What you're going to see? What you're going to hear?
Bottle of champagne.
Champagne. Be imaginative. Be imaginative. What you choose to imagine might be actually the evening after you've been on stage, you know. But it's got to be a picture of you having got what you want, and also how you feel. So even in terms of will you be warm, will you be cold, if you're inside, you know, what will the temperature be like, how you feel inside,
Will you cry?
What are you going to
what
wear?
you're going to wear, what will you
wear?
look like. Yeah, absolutely. What shoes you're going to have on, you know, what bag you're going to have,
I've always thought
everything.
about all that.
Everything. And that's really good fun, but it also makes it more likely it's going to happen, believe it or not, because you're painting a really good picture of your unconscious mind that it can latch onto. And if you paint a good enough picture, your unconscious will start to think, oh, that's real, that's true. So,
Can I say something?
yeah.
I think for quite a long time, even though people say to me things like, "Oh, you're going to be an MD in Bournemouth, going to be this," I turn around to myself, "Oh no, I'm not." That's what I've been saying for ages. It's so weird. And I go, "No, I'm not going to do that by then. Not going to do that." But something's clicked in my head now, and now I'm thinking, "Yes, yeah, by Birmingham, I am."
Yeah.
You know. So it's changed. I don't know what.
So you're
It's
suddenly,
just,
instead of being a person that you see not being an MD,
Yeah.
then you're suddenly, your self-image, your everything about yourself, your identity is the person who will be.
It's like a defence mechanism, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like fear of failure, so you kind of protect yourself, and then at the point where it becomes believable, a realistic expectation, then you can let yourself kind of buy into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and it can suddenly happen, it can suddenly click like that. And then you're not fighting with yourself
Yeah.
at that point. So you need to be able to do that, even if it feels a bit weird. I mean, I was a scientist for years. The first time somebody asked me to visualise, I was like, what? No, I'm not doing that. But it actually, it's the science behind it. It's a good reason why it's usually very valuable to do. And the other way to visualise, which you probably haven't heard of so much, is to imagine you're in a theatre and watch the scene. So what we were talking about before, you're there, you're experiencing it. The other way to do it is to imagine, close your eyes again, imagine you're going into a theatre, and it's your own private personal theatre, and it's whatever colour you want, really comfy seats, and you sit down in a seat, and the curtains open, and you then play the scene of your triumph, as if you were just watching it on a stage. And the way your unconscious works, it's important to do both. Both of those help your unconscious mind to start really believing that that's true and that's going to happen. And of course when that happens, because your unconscious is in control 95% of the time, you'll find you're starting to behave slightly differently, and you're doing things that are making it more likely that will happen without even having to try, because you believe it's going to happen. So why would you do something that would make it less likely? Does that make sense?
Mm.
So visualising vision boards are really important, and there's really good science behind it. It's not just sort of airy-fairy, wacky stuff, which is what I thought for ages. It really has some good solid basis behind it. So that's the fun bit. You also have to think, how will achieving your goal affect you, and how will it affect other people around you? Because sometimes when we get what we want, we can be a bit surprised by some of the things that come with it. Yeah? So, how will it affect you? What are you going to have to give up to get what you want? And are you actually prepared to give up what you're going to have to sacrifice to get what you want? You may have to sacrifice some time. And you may be fighting that at the moment. But until you actually accept that you will have to do that, it is going to be a bit of a battle. How will it affect people around you? Are you going to lose friends? Are there things about the way you are now that you really don't want to lose, that you might lose if you get if your dream comes true, if your goal actually comes true? So I'm not saying that that should stop you having the goal, but I think you need to actually, if there's some tension there, if there are things that don't quite go together, you need to be aware of that and work it out. There might be unexpected results. Well, say, so what's your goal? To be SC by Bournemouth?
Yeah.
Okay. So you probably have a clear idea of what you're going to have to do to be SC by Bournemouth. Will that have any effects on anybody else? Does it mean you won't be able to see your family so much, maybe? And if it does mean that, that's fine, but if you recognise that and accept it, that's fine. But if you still think you're going to be seeing your family just as much as you are, and you're still going to get your goal, you've got a bit of a battle going. There was, I remember watching, remember Super Nanny? Is it called Super Nanny?
Yeah.
I remember watching one years ago, and there was this couple that, they got this kid that would not sleep. The toddler kept getting up, and every night they were fighting this child to get it to go to sleep. And I think a lot of us have been there. And she gave them all these strategies to get this child to sleep, and it was working. And they visited them again 6 months later, and they split up. And I think it was the woman that said, yeah, when we when she was sleeping through the night and we had all evening just sat together, we thought we haven't got anything to talk about. Now that wasn't something they would expect from their goal that they had, but that's what I mean when sometimes things happen that go along with getting what you want that aren't necessarily what you want. So it's worth thinking about how it's going to affect your whole life. If you want to be a PMD, which I know most of us do, being a PMD is going to take a heck of a lot of your time. Maybe in 10 years' time you'll be able to step away from it, but certainly in the early days it's going to take a massive amount of time. Are you prepared for that? Do you really want it that much? And I'm not saying don't have goals, I'm just saying think about them and what it will actually mean. And does it fit your identity? So by that I mean your self-image, how you think of yourself. So if you think of yourself as a really outgoing, friendly, gregarious person, you'll talk to everybody and that fits in perfectly with your goal, that's great. But if you think of yourself, or you believe that you're quite a shy, quiet person and you find it hard to talk to people, and your goal is to be PMD, there's maybe a bit of tension there. Maybe something you've got to think about. I'm really introvert. I love Eric Worre because he always says he's an introverted person. When he gets up on stage, he can do it, but it drains all the energy out of him. He doesn't get energy from that. It drains him, and he has to go and hide afterwards and recoup his energy. So he's found a way to get what he wants, being the person that he is, but he's had to find a way to do it. Anybody can get to be an NMD or a PMD. Anybody. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are, but you might have to take a slightly different route and find other ways of doing things. If you don't want to stand on stage and you don't want to get to grips with that, and you don't even want to you don't see it as a problem, you just don't want to do it, you're going to have to find other ways of connecting with people. So again, it's not a reason to not make goals, but yeah, it has to fit in with your identity. Otherwise, it ain't going to happen. If there's a real conflict then. And just before we move on from just setting goals, there are three I's which I discovered recently when I was doing some reading that I think really sum up how your goal setting can be absolutely derailed. And you need to watch out for them, particularly I think in our business, because we look at what other people are doing and everybody has an upline, everybody has a sponsor, everybody has people that are doing things in a certain way, and it's really tempting to look at people who are successful, even if they're not in your upline, and say, right, that's the way she's doing it, that's the way I should do it. but it isn't necessarily. You have to find your own way. So the first one, when you're setting goals, has got to be sincere. So you've really got to mean it. You've really got to want it. It's no good having your upline set goals for you if you're not actually buying into them yourself, if you don't really want them yourself. It's no good me saying to Julia, you've got to have 5 PB loads in the next 2 months. Because if Julia isn't ready for that, or doesn't necessarily want it yet, or has got other things on her mind, it's my goal, it's not hers. Your goal's got to be your own, you have to be able to own it. So it's got to be sincere. And the other way it can be insincere is if you're just not really motivated. A lot of New Year resolutions are like this. You say, I'm doing this because I really should do it. I should lose weight. I should not drink so much. I should not snack. I should, I don't know, be on time. When you find yourself using words like I should do that or I need to do that, that's a red flag. Because you're not sincere, you're not actually, you don't really want it, you just feel you should. It's not sincere, and it's not going to work. So you have to really want it. You have to be precise, because your unconscious mind, like the little child, is very, very literal. So, a good example of this is, say you had a shop, say you had a dress shop, a bag shop. And say you've got some fabulous bags that come in, beautiful bags, and you've got an assistant, you said, I want those bags in the window tomorrow on a new display. And the picture you've got in your head is of all the beautiful bags, all in the window, positioned so they look lovely. So you go to your shop the next day, and they're all in the window, but they're still in the boxes. Because, now hopefully that wouldn't happen, but the point is you haven't been precise. If you said, take them out of the boxes, put them on these stands, arrange them so that they look really good in these colours or whatever, then it would have happened. You have to, and your unconscious mind is like that. You have to be really precise. If you say, my goal is to have a brand new car in 3 months, and that's it, well, if you wrote your car off next week, you would have a brand new car in 3 months, or a new but different car, but that's not really the way you wanted to do it. So be quite clear about what you want. Don't leave it open, because it's like talking to a little child, talking to your unconscious. And the third one is incongruity, and this is again, it's about it not, all incongruity means is a mismatch. So there's a mismatch between who you are and what your goals are. So if I'm a real homebody and I like being at home and I love my home and my cats and I adore that, and my goal is to, 5 years' time, sell up, buy a boat and travel around the world. It's not who I am. It may sound fantastic, but I'm not actually, it doesn't fit with who I am, with the person I am. If you're a really quiet person and you go into a Juice Plus meeting, and I've seen this so many times, and you get caught up on all the excitement, you think, yeah, I'm going to do this, this is wonderful, I'm going to make all this money, and a lot of us start like this. But then, if you're setting yourself goals that are going to be impossible for you, because you're a quiet person, you can't necessarily go out and talk to 10 people on Facebook, cold messaging. Not that I'm saying that's a good thing to do, but some people will do it. If that's just completely contrary to the person you are, then it's not a good goal. Your goal has to fit in with how you are. Unless you want to change how you are, and that's another story altogether. If you think, well, I'm too shy, I don't want to be like this anymore, then you have to work on that before you then make the goal that demands you different. Does that make sense?
I think we come across this a lot. There are body types, and
Yeah.
people will say, I want to be like you, and they are a mesomorph, a totally different body type, and you have to say to them, never will I look like you, I'll
Yeah.
never build muscle, and never will you look like me, so let's work with what you've got, and that's
That's a perfect
killer.
example.
That's a killer.
It's a perfect
It's-
example.
Yeah.
It's
Because it's
got
never going to
fit.
happen. It totally, it's not unrealistic. It's kind of not possible
It's not
unless you go
possible.
under the knife and get Do you know what I mean?
It would be like Julia saying, I'm going to be PMD tomorrow. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to accept who we are. We might want to change certain things, but in the end, if we're not happy in our own skin, then any goals we make is likely to be a lot of conflict. And it's important stuff, this. It's all very well to hear all the sign bags and you've got to get out of your comfort zone. That's where the magic happens. Yeah, sure. But it's got to be right. It's got to be getting out of your comfort zone in the right way for you at the right time when you feel motivated to do it. Okay. And once all that's worked out, then, and it's a real cliche, but a goal without a plan is just a dream. It ain't going to happen. You have to take action. And it might be baby steps. That's why we need little goals and then bigger goals and then massive goals. But everything you do has to be working towards that thing that you really, really want. And you might find halfway there that what you really, really want has actually changed. And that's fine. Our goals don't always stay the same. But you have to be moving towards it. If you're not moving towards your goals, your unconscious mind is going to think, well, it's not actually true after all, is it? Let's go back to what we were doing before. And that's where the DMO comes in.
Well, what about if people tell themselves they are moving towards the goals and they're actually not?
Yeah, well, being...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Being self-aware is really important. And I think that comes into the... I'm going to... If people are happy to, I'm going to say a little bit about DMO because that's really about what we do in our business. DMOs are really important. But yeah, if you have a DMO, a daily method of operation, things you do every day, and you do them every day for ages, but they're not actually building your business, and it's a DMO, but it's not actually any use to you. It's got to be something that is going to move you forward. Has anybody want to say anything? Got any questions?
It's all hitting home. Can totally relate to all of it.
I think there's a few phases where there's because it's important.
I wanted to know,
Yeah.
is there only me and Pauline in the room that have got a goal set?
No.
Is there
No.
no one else said anything?
Well, in the business,
Yeah.
if other people, I'm sure everybody's that wants to know when they're going to, we're thinking about when they're going to be at the next position. But yours, I mean, I've known this for ages. Yours is really crystal clear, and the same for you, Pauline. But I'm sure not everybody may want to say what they are, or they may still be working it out. But you actually believe it, which is why you're quite happy to put it out. You suddenly put it out there, didn't you, a few weeks ago? And that was probably the moment when you started to really believe it was going to
I
happen.
think it was like the last Super Saturday.
Yeah.
I never said it before. I always thought, no, I want to do it. No, I'm working at it. Don't worry.
And since
Now,
then,
something's changed, and you can tell by my team this month as well.
yeah, it's not just in your head. That it's changed in your head, but everything, looking at the office, everything is changing and falling into place to make that real, because you believe it. But we're not just talking about juice.
No.
It can be any sort of goal. We've all got goals. But once you achieve something, if it's a smaller goal, once you actually get there and achieve it and tick it off, my God, that feels good. And then you really believe that you can then go on to the next big thing. But you have to give yourself some success. You have to have some success, otherwise you don't feel like moving forward.
What I struggle with is when we might say to ourselves, I really want this, I'm really going to do it, I'm getting there, I'm going towards it, but actually not moving anywhere.
Yeah.
But you're kind of kidding yourself that you are.
Yeah,
I think
we've all done
having
that.
somebody to run it by, and I don't mean to be accountable to, I don't mean that we're kind of policing each other, but do you know what I mean? If you share it with somebody and somebody can say, well, you know, what's changed from last month, and you've got to be honest and think, well, nothing's changed from last month. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, again, it's like clients, it's the same kind of...
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
And they'll try and tell me it's, you know, and you're kind of thinking,
I've just chased up with them earlier. Are you on track?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you got enough recipes?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I've kind of...
yeah. But that's it, so it's kind of checking in with somebody, so I think, like, when I say accountability, I mean like
It's
in
really,
a nice way.
it's really easy to cheat yourself.
Yeah.
It's dead easy.
And you don't mean to.
No.
You're reassuring yourself almost, you know, I am doing something. And it's, you know.
Doing something is better than doing
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
That's true.
But if it's something that is actually moving you forward, it's even better. So when we work out our daily method of operation, it needs to be, it's different, it's going to be different for everybody. And the reason that DMO is so important, I think particularly in network marketing, because almost all of us are doing it part-time. We've got other jobs, we've got families, we've got commitments, we've got other things going on. So it's so easy to let a day go by and do nothing, or to let a week go by and do nothing. And if you're going to be working towards those goals and your unconscious mind is going to be working with you and helping you, you've got to have habits that are moving you towards the goal. So you've got, and DMO, if you do anything for 30 days, it's become a habit. Less than that, really. But if you've got a daily method of operation that you do for 30 days, it becomes so much easier. It's a habit, it's a muscle that you're building. And I think that's why it's so important in network marketing to have that. And it can be something, some people have said to me, well, some days I can't do anything. Well, I would say, okay, there must be something you can do every day. If you can't find 10 minutes every day, how are you going to make it work? Some days you might find 2 hours, some days you might find more, some days it may only be 5 minutes. So the absolute core of your DMO needs to be something you can do quickly, and you need to be honest with yourself. Some things will be your WMO. There'll be a weekly thing that you have to make sure you've done by the end of the week. And you may have things that you have to do every month. I've got a DMO, but it's quite small, but my weekly one is quite a lot bigger. So if I get to Thursday and I've got a lot more to do, I make sure I do it. So don't beat yourself up if you haven't got much time, but there has to be something every day that's moving you forward. So it's got to move you closer to your goals. It's no good saying, it would be no good me saying, I'm going to add 10 people on Facebook every day. So I add 10 people on Facebook every day. I don't get back to them and say thanks for connecting. I don't even think about moving them onto my business page or connecting with them anymore. I just add them, and if they accept me, that's great, and I ignore them. They're on my friends list, but I'm not connecting. That's not useful. It's DMO, but it's not useful. Or I might say, right, I'm going to post 5 times a day on Facebook about the product or the business. And so you post your 5 times, I post my 5 times, and a few people like the post, and I think, oh, it's great, some people have liked them, but I don't follow up. I don't say to people that are liking the post, oh, thanks for liking so many of my posts. You know, are you interested in the product? I wonder, you know, if there's any, you know, I'm really glad to see you liking it, and just start, or don't even mention it, just start a conversation. Thanks for liking so many of my posts. Have you got a similar job to me? You know, whatever. But you have to move it forward. So it's very easy to be trapped in a DMO that isn't actually moving you forward. You have to. What's the reason for what are we all trying to do with our DMOs? Anybody's heard Katie Raby will know this.
What you just said,
Moving forward.
Yeah.
But to move forward in network marketing, you have to talk to people. You don't have to talk to them face to face. You don't have to talk to them on the phone. You don't have to text them. You don't have to talk to them on Facebook. But you have to do one of them. You have to talk to them somehow, one-to-one, at some point. So all of our DMOs are helping us to connect with more people, I think. I mean, you may disagree, but that's the feeling I get from it. We have to connect more, and a good DMO will be doing that. It's got to be realistic. We've said that. It's no good. When I first started working out what my new DMO was going to be, I was going to be posting 5 times on Facebook, adding 20 people, tweeting 4 times, adding something to my Instagram, setting up a one-to-one every day. And I struggled. I did it for a couple of days, but it was never going to happen. Not all of it. It wasn't realistic. And so for a while, I didn't have a DMO at all because I'd frightened myself and thought, I can't do this. But now my DMO is actually, and we can talk about what we all do afterwards if we want to, but it's actually realistic. I've got stuff I do every single day. It's not a huge amount, but I know it's moving me forward. It's realistic. And it's got, again, we come back to personality. It's got to fit with your personality. If my upline said to me, and she wouldn't, if she said you have to you have to chase your likes, and everybody that likes your post, you have to ask them if they're interested in the business. I would just cringe. I couldn't do it, because
I'm
that's
going to
not,
make you do it.
that's not me. And not to that point, I couldn't do it. Some people could, and people do that, and they have done phenomenal success, because some people are interested. But personally, I can't do that. So you've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to have a DMO that you can actually do. It's no good saying you're going to do it and then not doing it, because you're fooling yourself. Your unconscious mind will be completely confused, and you won't move forward. It's got to fit with who you are. If you're larger than life and you love being on stage, then your DMO or your weekly MO could be doing 2 events. Kim Smith, she does loads and loads of events. She loves being on stage, and she's fabulous at it, and that's probably part of her method of operation. But we're not all like that. So it's got to work for you. It's got to fit with your personality. If somebody else tells you to do it, and it doesn't feel right, then it's because it's not right. Doesn't mean you don't do anything. You've got to find something to try. That's the most important thing of all. It's got to make you happy. Because if you read anything about peak performance, so athletes, sports people, actors, artists, anybody that we all perform every day, teachers, people that have to perform, you perform at your best when you're happy. Athletes will tell you if they're not happy, they're not going to perform at their best. Racehorses, apparently, if racehorses aren't happy, they don't perform at their best. It's not just humans, it's other animals too. You have to feel happy. So your DMO's got to make you happy. If you wake up every day and think, oh God, I've got to do that DMO, I've got to do all that, adding people on Facebook, I've got to do it though, you're not going to be, you're probably not going to do it. You're also not going to do anything else very well either, because you're just not happy with it. So it's really important to find something that you feel comfortable doing. And everybody will have something they feel comfortable doing that does make them happy. I've just started blogging, and it's not, I'm not blogging about Juice Plus, there will be Juice Plus in there, but I'm blogging about other stuff, and it makes me really happy. And since I've been doing that, I've been doing much better in other things and other aspects of the business. It's just, I just feel I'm getting out and I'm performing better, because I'm happy with what I'm doing. I found something that I like to do. So find something you really like to do. There may be other stuff you're not so keen on, but if the major part of your DMO actually you enjoy, you're going to do it really well. I think that might be the end. Oh no, back to this one again. Everybody is individual. It's no good following the leaders when they tell you, the leaders are really good at telling you what they do, the leaders in our business. Exactly, they will tell you exactly what the DMO is, and you can see that they're phenomenally successful, but that doesn't mean that if you just try and ape what they're doing, you're going to be really successful too. You've got to find your own. And I think that's where we can really help each other. We can talk to our uplines, we can talk, it's probably more helpful in a way to talk to our sidelines and people that, even people in other businesses. I've been speaking to some, do you know Janet Long? I've been talking to her a lot recently because we're at very similar, she's in Forever Living, and we're at very similar sort of stages in our business where we've got plenty of customers, but we're struggling a bit with building team and finding ways that work for us. And I know she's helped me, and she says that some of the things I've said have helped her as well. So it doesn't even have to be someone in the same company, but it really does help to have somebody to talk to about what you do and what they do, and they may be doing something you hadn't even thought of. So,
Look what Emily's done for our team.
oh God, yes, yes.
Because she's been working on it work, hasn't she?
Mm.
And she's gone back completely different.
Yeah, she can see it.
And she's given us so many different little hints and tips and stuff for
It's been
different.
phenomenal, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been really good.
It's been really useful.
Oh, such a good time, didn't mean to do that. Oh, well, never mind. Right. So what we're going to do, I hope that's been helpful. What I thought we might do is I'm going to turn this off. So if I do a replay and you're watching it, thanks for watching. And,